like I'm in a right silly mood today, and you've had the most stressful day.
Yeah, we're chalk and cheese right now. I'm like, let's do it. Let's get this done. And you're just like, let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. And I'm like, press play.
It's like that time when I asked you about farting in the shower, and you were like, I'm not the person to talk to.
I'm just going to pass the phone to Sandro. And then he's fully serious. He's like, yeah, I know it stinks, right? I was like, what the fuck are the two of you up to?
Well, he started telling me why it stinks so bad.
Oh, he actually had an explanation. Yeah, sometimes I just pass the phone like to Sandro with certain questions that you have.
But this is a really big episode for us, because this is our 60th episode. Woohoo.
Sometimes I'm like, of course we got to 60. And then other times I'm just like, oh my God, how do we keep doing this every week? But it's actually been effortless. Like I know I'm a bit tired today. And it's not the podcast, doing the podcast. It's more the setting up and I suppose the downloading and stuff. But this week's your week. So I'm sweet. We're just gonna record and then I'm gonna shoot on home. Loving my life.
It's lovely when it's not your week to edit, isn't it? I'm like, damn it.
Once again, though, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. And I really can't believe we are at 60. And I feel it's been a slow burn for me. Like, I've had many ups and downs in the sense of just like thinking I'm a jackass. You know, when anybody records themselves, they hate themselves. And I started hot and then I went down, then I came back up and I went back down, then I leveled off and I've leveled off for a while, but leveling off isn't good either because you can get kind of a bit mundane and you're thinking like, oh, no one's going to listen to that shit. And then you're just like, no, but it has to be effortless. Oh my God, the over and back and the pinging in the head can be absolutely endless because you've been in your career for like 20 plus years and same with me. So we forgot what it was like to have that like whole new feeling of starting something like new that never we did before.
Yeah.
And it's just a mad one. It's absolutely mad. And you told me something last week that I honestly didn't put together either about our initials.
We're
GC.
Yeah, say that again. Sorry, I interrupted by laughing. Say it again for everyone, the ones in the back.
For the ones in the back, our initials are GC. Good cunts.
Yes,
GC.
they are.
I love that I'm first.
It's like, you know, like in relationships, you normally put the man's name first.
You trying to say I'm the male? Yes.
Yes.
That's just a big fat yes.
Yes, I did realise that. I can't remember how. I think I was doing something designy and I was trying to obviously shorten it because I've got such a long name. So and you've got a name that people can't say. Even when I do subtitles on like Instagram or any apps that I have, every time they spell your name wrong, that I have to go in and edit it, that I have to check every single time. I can't just let subtitles go.
No.
Yeah.
Even with my accent, you can't let subtitles go. When I do stuff for the salon on Instagram, you know how much I just talk to the camera. You want to see the shite that subtitles comes up with sometimes. And I have to go in and I have to edit it. And some days I don't have time. And some days, like, you will see the subtitles just go off, be absolute gibberish. And sometimes I am bothered to actually change them. But either way, yeah, my name, man. But then could you imagine me being a Sarah or a Laura or,
No.
you know, I really can't imagine even myself being anything else, unless it's more outrageous.
Yeah. I asked, I saw this reel saying that, you know, you should ask your mum like certain questions. and it's one of them is, how did you come up with my name? The second one is, what's your fondest memory of me, of my entire life? Like, these questions that, people don't necessarily share. Well, your mothers don't share with you, but actually are really key information that you should ask your
Well,
mum.
I do know how I got my name.
Go on then. Share.
I
Share for everyone.
Well, this is a memory that I've had, and I hope I didn't make it up in my head. I must ask her again, but like she went to the hospital to have me, and she thought she was having a boy, so she had a boy's name picked out, and the lady beside her thought she was having a girl, had a girl's name picked out, and they both ended up having the opposite, and they just swapped names in the hospital.
Do you think there could be a chance that the hospital swapped the babies?
I often thought that, but I am definitely my mother's daughter. Definitely. I often thought, I was like, do you know what? Like, it sounds a bit suspicious. Like, and I think I asked before. I think I was like, do you not think there's a possibility that, like, instead of just your solution was to swap the names, but possibly by accident you got the wrong kid? But
Imagine that though, because then, the child did end up with the name that was always intended for them. That's even freakier.
oh, that is freaky. Anyway,
Imagine.
I
Well,
don't know what the
all
boy's
that
name
stuff
was.
that
I
used to
can't
go on
remember
in
that one.
Ireland with babies, you never
Um,
know.
there is a dark history.
There is.
Let's not go down that path. We'll do a history lesson someday.
Yeah.
But
Oh, I love
yeah.
talking about the Magdalene sisters and all that.
Oh
Crazy.
God. Well, I mean, it's not that long ago.
No. It was like the 80s, wasn't it, that it all stopped? Anyway, different episode.
Yeah. Different episode. We're veering. But
But I also wanna say, like, I love the way, you just said it before we came on as well, and I'm a fan of summer, but I am feeling the autumn vibes, and we're both wearing cozy jumpers today, and I've got my Jack Wills hoodie back on.
you love that hoodie. The
I
excitement
do.
of that coming in the post and you figuring out that you could order that from the UK to New Zealand, it was just absolutely unbelievably exciting.
It really
I
was.
love autumn. I was out last night in the garden at about maybe, I don't know.
I thought you were gonna say, like, the pub or something, but yes, we've already established we don't do that anymore.
But I did go all the way to the back of the garden. So I was out there and oh my God, the sun was setting and it was just stunning. I love autumn. I
Mm.
love it. I think it's actually my favorite. Oh, no, I do love spring as well. Spring and autumn are absolutely my fave. It was magical last night. And I thought to myself, I wonder, do I love it because it matches my bedtime? Like, 'cause I love going to bed early, but yeah, I still love a good sunset. And I love as the sun's coming down, like all the different lighting and, it's coming through the fence and everything. And I love all that. And it's coming through the trees and the trees are dancing in the wind. And it was a wind last night that was still warm because we're not obviously far enough into autumn yet. Oh
Yeah.
my God, it was just heaven on earth. I think it just suits my bedtime. I'm like,
Yeah, well,
I'm like a granny or a child.
I find it funny because even, when I did that trip to Auckland for that meeting, the, girl I went up with, we both had a bit of a laugh because we both said how we work from home, we basically wake up with the sun, like, and,
Yeah.
how ridiculous do we sound? But it is true that,
Oh,
in the summer, when the sun rises, it comes through the windows, and so obviously it wakes me up. And now autumn, as we're getting darker mornings, I'm waking up later and I'm like, oh shit, I really enjoyed getting up really early. That I'm like, damn, am I gonna have to set alarms to get me back in a routine?
no, I still wake up at the same time. I don't wake up to an alarm, but I still wake up at the same time. And my alarm is the cat hitting me in the face. And her time clock is perfect. So I love though on my window, like I love my big window, and I love that um I'm watching the trees start to get the sun from pitch black. It's so lovely.
Yeah.
So same, but different. You're not waking up with the sun. It's so healthy to wake up with the sun, but the clocks are going to change soon, and then you'll be fine again anyway.
Won't it get darker?
No,
What is it? You fall back.
yeah,
So yeah, it will get darker because it's already only it gets light about 7:30 now. So if the clocks go back,
it'll get light around 6:30.
no, that's in spring when you go forward. I'm confused anyway. Either way, the
We'll circle
mornings are
back
going to
to
be
this when it
darker.
actually
Yeah, we'll
happens.
circle back when we're actually sure on what it is.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Um,
right.
but I've been progressing well with my book. So I did get the 5 a.m. club, and I've started reading that in the mornings, as I feel like that's appropriate for the mornings. But
It
in the
is.
afternoons, I've been catching up with your list, and I'm on the Diary of a CEO, and I had the most awesome chapter the other day that made me think massively of me and you, and that we're already doing it, but such a good point about how people don't like uncertainty. Do you remember that chapter?
I do, because I do think I brushed off a little bit of it on one of the podcasts, but I don't think enough for people to really care that we're actually bringing it up now as a wee little chapter. The Diary of a CEO only gets better. Like
Oh, it's
it
so
only
good.
get it's so good, and the chapter you're on is so good, and so much of it like did ping for me, and it's not now until you're reading it. Obviously, we can have conversation.
Yeah.
Um, but that uncertainty, I mean, and it can happen to me quite a bit. But if do you want to explain where you're coming from?
Well, so, like, he was just explaining about, the anxiety that people get, like, like when a flight is delayed or something, and they tell you, they go I mean, I've had this where they come over the speaker and say, "Oh, we've got a 30-minute delay for boarding the plane." And then, like, an hour goes by and no one's updated you, and you get more and more furious. But, it could be a minute over the 30 and you're furious because nobody has told you that it's gonna be a minute. Like, suddenly these tiny things become massive because it's this anxious and frustration
It's the not
of
knowing.
uncertainty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and he talks about how, like, how certain brands have really combated this and made such a good job, like Uber. Like, when you used to book a taxi, you didn't even know if it was gonna show up or, what time. Whereas on Uber, you can literally watch a map and see the car coming to you, that, you don't get any unhappy customers because you can watch it, that it takes away that chaos.
You've just given me a wee flashback to the good old days of like I booking all my taxis from the landline for the whole weekend. Back in the day. Now we're like, we're so uncertain that we have to have a little fucking
Yeah,
like animated taxi like going along GPS and how close it is to you. Um it does help. It is a massive thing if you know. Because the example of the Domino's is people are working in Domino's making your pizza. You made the order 20 minutes ago. You were told, 20 minutes. So now 25 minutes have gone by and then you call them. But you're calling the people that are making the pizza, which therefore delays it. So
yeah.
anybody whose pizza doesn't get to them exactly in the minute that they wanted or they were told, then they
Mm,
call. So how many calls are coming into a place that doesn't have a receptionist? So therefore, if there's no calls coming in, there's no delays. So everything works faster.
mm,
Everything has a momentum and it will get there in time because that 5 minutes that it was delayed wasn't the person's fault who ordered that exact pizza. But what about the one before who called? What about the one before? The one before, the
yeah,
one before, the one before. That compound effect of that every minute of answering the phone has now led to 5 minutes, 3 hours into service. What's it going to be like 6 hours into service? It's going to be 10 minutes. And then there's a traffic delay and it's going to be another 10 minutes. Whereas if someone can look
mm,
at an app and just say, and can see, oh my God, my pizza has left the oven.
yeah.
Let's
I
just
know,
watch
it's just
another
brilliant,
episode.
isn't it?
Mm. I mean,
But it
I
is,
am a
and
bit.
I felt the joy with those apps, like, that release of like, "Oh, it's okay, I can see exactly where it is."
I
Like,
can definitely see how that would definitely help people, and I 100% think as a company, it's 100% a thing to do. I am just so much more chilled out. I'm just like, yeah, well, I'm sure they're making the pizza. I'm just like, I'm sure they're making the pizza, but that's
I know,
only
but I
me.
I feel like we built up some resilience in New Zealand anyway, because like, even if you order something, it takes, like, a month to get here. Like, so you're used to the fact things don't arrive. Like
Yeah, that's really true. And I don't want, but then, but that influenced me. I don't have a phone in the salon. I don't have a receptionist to answer the phone. And for a receptionist to work the same hours that I do at the minimum wage, which is so high, I wouldn't be able to afford that. You're not just paying someone minimum wage, you're like paying all the PAYE, like you're paying their KiwiSaver, you're paying their holidays, you're paying their, your sick pay. There's so much that goes into paying someone to sit at a desk and watch me work for a one-man band in a salon. So anyone that always ever has something to say about no phone in the salon, I kind of just laugh and just think, ah, oh well. Because with the appointment based system online, you have the full freedom to go in. You can look up when your appointment is. You can change your own appointment. You can cancel your own appointment. You can create appointments. It's all there and it's all working behind the scenes while I'm actually with somebody on the chair. And the amount of people that are like, it's so nice not hearing the phone call. Like, it's so nice you not answering the phone midway doing my hair, because that also goes for
Yeah.
a person that's physically in a restaurant or in a salon, or or you're going to a meeting. If they're sitting there waiting on you as well, and they're like, I've got someplace to be, I wonder how long that phone call is going to go on for. Oh my god, like, because they can go on forever, and then it can make, and then Domino's like can pick up the phone and be a little bit kind of like, hello, like, hello Domino's, and they might get a little bit like, yes, it's on the way, or I'll have a look, or it kind of sounds a bit snappy. Then you can get a bit snappy on the phone, and then that doesn't help the person on the other end who's already furious that they were told 20 minutes and it's now 25, and now the person on the other end of the phone has been a bit of a snappy bitch because they're sick of the phone calling because they're trying to do the pizzas to get them the fuck out. I know, I know. Rant.
Well, I mean, yeah, that chapter like really did make me think, um, what we already have in place. Like, for example, like with my business, the first thing I do when I first talk to someone is send them a proposal, which is a document that literally breaks down everything that I'm going to do for them, step by step, how it's going to work and how it's going to benefit them. And then a breakdown of the cost. And then when they go ahead, they get a questionnaire. So they're part of the process. It's not just me going, yep, I'm going to do that to you. Now I'm not going to talk to you till the end. It's like creating a journey where you're making them involved with the project. And it just what I found, I mean, it's from what I've learned from years of working in agencies and different styled agencies. But what I've learned is that it really builds retention. I mean, I've got clients that are still with me since the day I started that, not many agencies can say that they have a life cycle of clients from the agencies I've worked in before, that, you have an average of how long a client is with you. And I've built that up because I always involve them and always try and have a point of contact, a regular point of contact, and regular tasks that are happening and continuous value giving rather than just doing my job and getting on. It's
It's
going, this
easier.
month I'm going to do this for you. So it's like a bonus every month just to show
And
your
for some
value.
people out there, it might seem a little bit like, oh, I just don't have time, or, all these different excuses that we can give ourselves. But
But it
your
can be the
target should
smallest thing.
always be retention. It is so much
Mm,
easier to retain than try and find new
yeah.
consistently. It's
And
actually
as a
so much
hairdresser,
easier.
that's massive for
Oh,
you, like clientele.
it's huge. You can schedule your week so fluidly and so to perfection, knowing the person's head of hair that's coming in the door and knowing the
Mm,
person themselves. And it's actually a nicer just life in the salon as well. Because it's like catching up with a mate when they come in to get their hair done. But
yeah.
retention is definitely key. We were very much taught that. Like, I was taught that from the very start. Retention, retention. retention. Like you even got paid more if your request rate was high in the salons.
Oh,
You'd have a
really?
you'd have your commission base as a junior stylist, and then as a stylist, there everyone is on a commission rate. But if your request rate is above a certain percentage, as I mean, it's a long time ago now, but I think 80%, you're put into another tier and your prices go up. Like for so it's a win-win really for the company. But I was actually allowed, I kind of asked them, could I be on that tier but without my prices going up? And they said no. So I chose not to have the pay rise, actually, which I mean, I clearly had a problem with money and did not know it for a very long time. And I only started working on my money issues, um, I suppose, just before opening Lumsden, really opening the business. And it's just changed everything. But yeah, you're dead right. Implementing these things cause retention. Because if you were to order from some either Domino's or a company who didn't have that little wee following your pizza to the house, who would you pick?
Well, in New Zealand, nobody. I don't
No, but
like the
in
pizza
general, in
over
a
here.
hypothetical
No,
situation,
right.
like if there was like two pizza places in Cromwell and both of them delivered, but one of them had the app for you to follow the pizza from the start of its whole journey right to your front door, even though the other one was a little bit cheaper.
I mean, I think for me, it wouldn't be cost that would make the difference. It would be the quality. Like for
So if the
example,
other one had a better quality pizza, you'd still be okay with that uncertainty of knowing when it got to the house.
I don't know, right? I'm trying to put myself back in a place where there is options because there isn't really options here. So it's hard to think about it in Cromwell. Like when you're saying Cromwell, I'm genuinely thinking of Cromwell. So like say for example, I'm back in Queenstown, and it's like Fat Badgers versus Domino's, like a real example. Fat Badgers would be a treat because it's really good, but it doesn't have the app. But if I just wanted an average, I had people coming around or whatever and wanted just a pizza, just to serve a purpose, it would be Domino's. Or like, well, any just a Friday night, just getting a pizza, it would be Domino's always, unless it's like a special occasion where it's like, oh, should we treat ourselves and get a Fat Badgers?
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, if you take the treat out of it, right. Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't know what the answer would be then. I don't know.
Well,
There's
like,
no
well,
answer to that.
I mean, the question was that would you go with the one with the app or would you go with one that's better? Well, I'd go with the one with the app unless it was a special occasion. So as my
Yeah.
every kind of, if I was getting it, say, weekly, a takeaway weekly, I would go with Domino's.
Mm.
Anyway, we're getting off the track. Um, like, just in terms of like the life skills that we've brought in for these things. And like we said earlier, it doesn't have to be to like keep retention of clients. It doesn't mean you need to like, invest time and money on doing extra things. Like it could be the tiniest little thing, like making them a coffee while they wait. Like you have things in place, you have books that you've bought for clients, all these things help and relieve the frustration when they're waiting to be in your chair.
Yeah. Do you know what the biggest one is?
What?
The fireplace in winter when the
I,
fireplace is lighting. I, people would just sit there. They don't care. They would just, I make my own coffee. Like they come in early. They just come in early. They sit by the fire. They have their coffee. It is. You're dead right though. If I mean, I've ran late for many years. I've definitely, I've learned a lot from our journey of the two of us, even doing the podcast and reading all the books that we're reading. And I was adamant opening my own salon. There's certain things that I didn't want to happen, but I had to work on them personally. And then from me working on them, they have leaked into the business in a positive way. So when someone comes in and I'm still with another client, sometimes it is better to stop and make that tea or coffee for the client waiting and then go back. Because, like you said, there's the
Mm.
uncertainty. But if you can distract that uncertainty instead of having them sit there just going over and over in their head again, like, when is she ready? When is she ready? When is she ready? When is
Yeah.
she ready? Like, just stop and talk to the person, even though that can be a hard conversation, because then they might say, like, I have to be out for a certain time for my kids. And, you can't just, and then you have to make sure you're still giving the value to the person that's still on the chair,
Mm.
because it's probably my own fault, because the person on the chair probably got that extra head massage because maybe she's having a bad day and I decided at the basin to give an extra head massage. Maybe I decided to do a treatment and tell them, like, oh, I'm just going to pop a quick treatment on your hair. It feels like it needs it. And I might do that off my own back, or they'll ask me for a treatment, or I'll ask them, do they want a treatment? And sometimes, like I said earlier on, like, those 2-minute things, they add up and add up and add up, especially if it's a big
Mm.
color service. So yes, I could be finishing off the blow dry and the haircut when someone comes in. But if I actually say to them, like, I'll be 5, I'll be 10. But if I'm going to be 20, you can be sure I'll ask them, like, right, sit down there, get comfortable, loads of books there. I'll make you a tea or coffee. And then immediately they feel looked after, they feel seen. And
Mm. Yes,
they
that's
feel
massive.
seen. It's
Mm.
massive. It's like you taking us on the journey with the process that you go through, which makes us feel like, oh, that is my website or that is my logo, because I answered a questionnaire and look at what she got from my brain and look at what she's created from the things that I said. It's so important. So
And
love that. Can I tell
I've
you?
actually got like a live example, not live, but real example of when you've done it to me. Because sometimes as a friend, when not necessarily now, because you don't have like multiple clients on the go at once, you're like Houdini. Um, you do have that private setting where people can get that dedicated time now. But back in the day when you were in salons, and I'd come and get my hair done. Like, as a friend, we talk about this quite a lot anyway. Like, when you give someone a discount, you kind of have to work harder because they feel like they're getting ripped off because they've got a discount. Um, but like, I'll be sitting there and say, for example, I'm in the basin and you've put a toner on, and then you go off and do another client, and then you're chatting to another client. And I would sometimes think, she's forgotten about me. Oh my God, is it going to be all right? She's forgotten about me. And then you would always come over, and I can guarantee you probably didn't need to do anything and you knew in your head, but just because you saw my face, you would come
Mm,
over and be like, touch it a few times and be like, yep, 5 more minutes, and then go back. You didn't need to do that. You've been doing this long enough. You know how long it takes, but you would have seen the anxiety happening and
yeah,
quickly go and just do something. That's the 2-second thing that doesn't
yeah,
take time or money, to just reassure someone, I haven't forgotten about you.
correct.
I know you're here. It's in my head. I'm a pro.
Mhm. Yeah, it's so good to reassure them. And I do it just automatically because, like, I suppose you can feel that little wee bit of, like, oh, how long will I be?
Mm.
Um, yeah, no, that's a good example. And also another good example is when you are in the salon and you're drying your own hair. I have
Yes,
to be
I
like, it's
am.
okay, everyone. It's okay. This is what she does. She's a friend. I'm not making a client blow dry their own hair.
Do you
I have
know,
to make sure.
I always felt guilty about that. And then the other day you said to me, and I don't know whether you meant to or not, but you were like, oh,
Oh
doing your
God.
hair's easy because you do all the bloody washing and drying and straightening and styling yourself. And I was like, oh, so she does kind of appreciate it. I was like, oh.
Well, it's easy, isn't it? Pop a few foils in. I mean, if you could wash your own hair off at the basin, it'd be great as well at this stage. There's no changing ya, so I might as well lean into it.
Yeah.
You mad bitch.
But you
She
had
comes in with
said
her own
something to
hair
me.
dryer and straightener and everything. Like,
I know, yeah. I do like to bring my own stuff.
I have an example as well. I have a really good one for this subject. I when I was an apprentice, I went to at the end when I qualified, they sent anybody who qualified that year to a motivational speaker, and I actually have his book. Like, this is how old that book is.
Oh, wow.
Um, I have it here in the salon. My mother sent it over in the post. We found it in the attic, and he walked into the room, and he just walked in, and it was a huge conference room in a hotel, and he just walked to the center of the top of the room and folded his arms and just stared at us. and none of us knew what to do. We were all looking at each other and we were thinking, God, is he going to say anything? Are we meant to say something? Um, all these things and all these thoughts went through our head and it felt like forever. And he was like, how long did that feel? Because it was only 30 seconds. So when someone walks through the door of the salon, you acknowledge that they exist. Even if there is a wait, even if there isn't anyone at reception, somebody turn around to the door and say, hi, won't be a second. Acknowledge someone's existence. And it stuck with me forever. I mean, it's haunted me as well because I have worked in salons where I probably shouldn't have been saying hello, but I immediately can't help it.
Yeah.
Can't help it. I'm like, I turn around, I could be the third person down in a row, and I'll still stick my head out and be like, won't be a second.
And I think it's like things like that that really have shaped us. Like the fact that, we aren't just starting, down this industry. We haven't just begun. We've been in the trenches for years. We've picked up these little traits that are now just part of our DNA, that we naturally do them without realizing. And that's why our businesses are succeeding, is because we've covered all corners. And we are treating humans like humans, not like dollar bills.
Yeah.
Which,
Absolutely.
You see all the time. And I feel like I'm treated like that sometimes with certain companies and stuff, that it's nice to make people feel involved and feel part of your journey.
Absolutely. I mean, it's such an energy exchange, like money. Like you have to feel, I mean, especially at a time where people are, trying to spend it. What am I trying to say? It's like a lot of people I hear are trying to spend it where it's going to a company who's got a lot of values and ethics and everything. And that costs a lot of money. I mean, all of us could shop on Timu, but some people don't want to because they don't know what the work conditions are like, or they don't want cheap products. And if you're somebody who wants good quality products, you're going to have to prioritize, because we can't. We just don't have the willy nilly money just to like always be buying top of the top range, top end, top everything. So when you do spend your money, you want to feel you want it to be a good energy transaction. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's just making me think of what I did this morning.
Oh, tell everybody what you did while I was slaving in the salon. I'm stoked.
Oh my actual God, I'm so excited. I just, thought, well, it's time, and we've been talking about it for a long time. So I decided to design and purchase some half a sandwich podcast hoodies for me and Gráinne to wear. We've got our
I was like,
matchy
are they
hoodies.
black? They better be black.
They're
They better
black.
not be pink. Okay.
No, they're black. I was thinking what color, because I did one for Fresh Mix in navy, because I love navy hoodies. But I was like, no, she's going to want black. So the half a sandwich ones I did in black. And I'm so bloody excited for these bad boys to arrive. I'm just like, how soon can I see you so I can give you yours? I just can't wait.
Post it to me.
I've already paid for postage to come here. I'm like,
probably take longer to get from Cromwell to fucking Athol anyway than what it will to get to your house. That's so exciting, Charlotte. Well done. That's insane, and I love it. And you actually got decent hoodies, which I'm super stoked about. Yeah, no, that's going to be absolutely fucking epic. Watch out, Lumsden. I'm coming in hot and branded.
I can literally imagine you like coming out the salon, running across the street, or chasing some truck down the street like you normally do, heading to the supermarket with a massive half a sandwich podcast on your back. Like
Yeah.
it was the vision when I was designing it. I can imagine you being crazy in Lumsden.
I do think you could end up doing so many. Like, I mean, all news is kind of advertisement, whether it's bad, good, or indifferent. We should do something like outrageous. We should do a bungee jump. We should do a tandem bungee jump wearing
God, no.
the hoodies. Oh,
Never.
let's do it.
No, I'm not doing a bungee jump. I've never done one. I'm not doing one. I'll jump out of a plane. I'm not doing a bungee jump.
Hold on. You've never done a bungee jump?
No. I've jumped out of a plane 3 times, but I will not do a bungee jump. It's voluntary. You have to physically jump yourself. It's like, no.
That is the hard part. But if you do a tandem, I'll just throw both of us.
No, I can't do. My heart
You
won't
can
take
do a
that.
tandem. You can
No,
do a
10
tandem.
years
You're
ago,
literally
yeah.
20 minutes from it.
No, I did the Fox swing thing, you know, where you go on that zip swing across the canyon. I did that a couple of years
Oh,
ago, and our friend Salmon was working there at the time, and he stopped me midway. He saw how scared I was, so he stopped me midway. So I was just hanging in between these cannons, and the trauma of that day, I was like, Salmon, please, please, just get me to the end.
you just want a salmon to save you.
Oh, but yeah, no, we're not doing a bungee. Think of something else. There's the racetrack here. Maybe we go around in a race car. I'll do that. Cars seem to be our theme at the moment with
I don't know.
the
It
Highlands.
really is. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how the fuck that happened, but
I know. I've had so many people message me going, "Why are you guys going to all these car things?" Like,
and it's not like there's short of things that go on down here, you know?
I
Like, I
know.
mean, it's this time of year where there's loads of stuff happening. But yeah, anyway, listen, we're rolling with it.
Yeah, and if you've got a car event, let us know.